You know, I love LA. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm a Valley boy, sure, but this nightmarishly hot hellscape is my home. It's also the movie-making capital of the world, but it's a place I rarely ever see authentically depicted in video games. It's either some sort of hodgepodge mishmash of all the city's major areas slammed into one amalgamation, like San Andreas and GTA, or just an area you speed through in a driving game. Even Los Angeles' most in-depth and lovingly crafted recreation, LA Noire, takes place during a time period that is completely alien to anyone playing video games today. I find that games that take place in New York are not only more numerous, but are often truer to their source material than games that take place here. So imagine my surprise when I saw this. Yo, that's where I live! This is SWAT 3, a real-time tactical shooter, and the sort of game you watched your dad play decades ago, but couldn't get into yourself until you started to inch towards your 30s. It's also Sierra's answer to Rainbow Six, the progenitor of the contemporary dad shooter game. But the series that SWAT is a part of goes all the way back to the 1980s. Anyways, SWAT 3, like the vast majority of the Police Quest games that came before it, takes place in my backyard. Literally. With many of the game's locations being straight up real places like City Hall or LAX, or are very close approximations of real places like this hospital level that I swear is just one of the Kaiser buildings in Panorama City. And despite the obviously aged visuals, it's surprising how authentic and real these places feel. The second level's a great example of this. In it, you and your squad are raiding this house, and it's one of those homes that they built all over Greater LA in the mid-century, and each of the rooms inside has its own, distinct vibe. For instance, the son is a pervy little freak with a messy room, dirty magazines, and a mirror installed on the roof just above the bed. But the dad's office space is tidy, well-organized, and presentable, and it's pretty rad. The whole game is filled with these micro details that ground the game in something more down-to-earth when compared to FPS games from around the same time. These aren't massive, large open battle arenas or surprisingly wide laboratory hallways made for strafing and bunny hopping. These are houses in the suburbs, office spaces, and airport terminals. Places designed for anything but shootouts, but just so happen to become urban death traps. You aren't a space marine or a 27-year-old physicist. You're just a dude. And if an enemy spots you before you spot them, 9 times out of 10, it's game over. It was a very alien playstyle to just about anything else on the market at the time, save for Rainbow Six, obviously. But even that had an in-depth planning stage prior to the start of a mission, whereas SWAT 3 is much more about thinking on the fly. Outside of the pre-mission briefing, you're left to figure out everything yourself, and it's a playstyle that really holds up after nearly 30 years. Outside of a few tweaks here and there, most tactical FPS games on the market still play like SWAT 3. Really, the only barrier to entry is getting the thing to boot up and play properly. In the year of our Lord 2026, in order to actually run SWAT 3 smoothly, you need to get a free mod called Last Resort that fixes some compatibility issues with modern PCs and offers widescreen support. That, and a DG Voodoo wrapper you plop into the game's main directory that fixes the game's frame rate issues. When you get those things sorted, you're ready to hop in, and I think you'll find that in most ways, SWAT 3 hasn't aged that much at all. Its AI is especially impressive, and as crazy as it is to say, this 27-year-old game has better companion AI than most games out today. While they both might be smoother playing experiences overall, in both SWAT 4 and Ready or Not, I often felt like I was kind of babysitting my unit rather than relying on them as a team. That's not the case here. If anything, they're so good at their job that they're effectively babysitting you. If they all die, you're basically screwed 6 ways to Sunday. And that's because the enemy AI is also no slouch either. They're quick to draw and are typically pretty accurate, but unlike the baddies in Ready or Not, they aren't outright suicidal. They'll run, take cover, or even hide in closets and cabinets if they think they can get the drop on you, and even surrender if they know the odds are stacked against them. In discussions about impressive AI in games, you often hear about Half-Life's HECU Marines or Fear's replica soldiers, but I almost never hear about SWAT 3, despite being equally as impressive. But where SWAT 3 has aged is also pretty intriguing in hindsight. For a game that was made just a couple of years prior to 9/11, it's interesting to see how obsessed this game is with terrorism. The game takes place in the optimistic, end-of-history-esque future year of 2005, where a global nuclear disarmament agreement is to be signed here in LA. Unfortunately, no one is happy about it. So just about every radical fringe movement is looking to stop it by any means. Even if that means, blasting the entire city. Coming from SWAT 4 to retrospectively play SWAT 3, it's surprising just how quaint and relatively small scale the subsequent game is with its missions compared to this. While SWAT 4 slowly ramps up to more heavily armored suspects and even terrorists by the late game, the suspects come from all walks of life, from tweakers and serial killers to well-armed gang members. In contrast, SWAT 3 throws you into the frying pan pretty early on, and body armor-clad baddies and covert crooks are about the only guys you'll be fighting in the back half of this game. I guess seeing as, incidents like the battle for North Hollywood were still fresh on the mind, I'm sure a lot of that bled through here. Though the thermonuclear annihilation of Los Angeles is, pretty out there. But hey, you can't predict the future. I mean, earlier this year in my Dead Rising video, I made a joke about the wars in the Middle East back in the 2000s, and then, I guess, though, that just goes to show that anything is possible in the world of tomorrow. Just probably not nuclear de-escalation. I just don't see that in the cards anymore. Anyways, despite being one of the founding fathers of the tactical shooter subgenre, most folks skip over SWAT 3 in favor of its sequels or the myriad of spiritual successors that have come out in the past few years. But take it from me, a gay cartoon rabbit on the internet. There's still a lot worth seeing here. Even if it does kinda look like ass. Get out of here. You fucker. You piece of shit. Fuck you. Get out!